Mm-hmm.
That's
He's
good,
not playing
though.
Racken, though.
Yeah, it's true. He's not. And we are live.
Sounds good.
So, welcome to the third installment. If you missed the other two, you should probably go back and watch those. But just to give you a quick rundown, what we're doing is taking the various matchups from Lonewolf 2017. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of 86 to 88 players, and we are running down who's matched up with who on what table, what all of their armies look like, and then we're giving a rundown of what we like about the list or what we think has a competitive edge against the other list, and kind of do a comparison there. We've got a new set of people on tonight. We've got Rob Fanoof, the standing U.S. Masters president, and then we've got Jeff Swan. Woo-hoo! You guys do a quick intro for yourselves.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm Rob. Counter charge. I think that's enough.
All right. I'm Jeff Swan, beer phase. There we go.
Short and sweet. All right. We left off on table 29 last time, so we're jumping into table 30. Table 30, we've got Jordan Lawrence versus Lance Brown.
My Padawan.
Yeah, let's see if he can actually follow your advice this year.
Come on, Jordan.
Okay.
I got big faith. I got big faith in Jordan this year, man.
You said that
big
last
faith. Yeah, well, he didn't listen.
Yeah, he did not. All right. Jordan is rocking Twilight Kin. He has 2 regiments of Blade Dancers. He has 3 regiments of Dark Knights, 2 Dark Scythe Chariot regiments. He's got 2 Twilight Bolt Throwers. He has 2 Hydras. He has a Dark Lord on Black Pegasus with Pipes of Terror. And he has an Army Standard Bearer mounted on a horse. So very light in the magic item category. And very fast. Or moderately
like he picks
fast,
up his play style from someone I know. All right, so we've got Lance Brown, which is a great matchup for him. This ought to be a really fun game. These guys are both just some of the nicest people in the room. Anybody that gets to play either one of these guys this weekend is in for a real treat. They're both really, really nice players. Lance Brown's coming down from Oklahoma. He's bringing his herd, it looks like. He's going to be sticking to the Spirit Walkers he loves so much with a horde of those guys. They've got the Healing Brew. He's got 2 regiments of Tribal Longhorns. One of them has the Dwarven Ale. He's got a regiment of Tribal Hunters, always a good little unit. They swap their throwing weapons for bows because, again, somebody doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. We've got Harpies. He's got 1 troop of Harpies. He's got a horde of Guardian Brutes. Going on into Chariots. Nice. Like to see that. We got a regiment of Chariots. They have the Potion of Caterpillar. He's got a Chimera by himself. He's got a Tracker. Ooh. There is someone you don't see often.
Or ever.
Yeah, that's cool. So a little 70-point character, kind of fun. He's got a Shaman with heal 5. He's got another Shaman with heal 5. He's got a Guardian Brute Champ. He's naked.
Mm-hmm.
Avatar of the Father. Doesn't look like he has wings. No. So that is his list. Rob, why don't you start us out since you were one of the people not reading? So,
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I never can tell with Twilight Kin. I mean, I just they're like one of those wild cards. So in that case, I'm going to go with the known commodity. I know Lance. He's a pretty good player. I think the herd, but God, on one side of me just wants to think that, man, the herd are just a good target for Twilight Kin.
mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go with Lance just because I know Lance.
Alrighty.
But it's not based on any empirical evidence.
Go with the known evil, right?
Exactly.
I'm going to pull Jordan's list one more time and take a look at it.
Well, I can tell you without a doubt, I like Jordan's list better. I know what this list is capable of. It has a couple of tricks in there that I don't know he's done yet, but there's a lot of toying around with the heights that he has. Those blade dancers can just skirt behind those dark side chariots, and you can kind of jut them out and away from each other. They have the same movement, they keep up. You can make like little wall out of those chariots, shoot, bust them out of the way, and charge around. That's a cool little trick you can do with them. 3 regiments of Dark Knights is nothing to sneeze at. This army's very fast, very hitty, vicious on everything. 2 War Hydras on top of it, bolt throwers. I mean, just a list all in all, it's just got everything you really need. He builds a tools heavy list so he can kind of go into that toolbox and grab what he needs. And that I'm always going to go towards that kind of a list over something that does one thing really well. So Jordan's got my vote on that one.
Gotcha. I'm really split on this one. I have a hard time putting these 2 lists together and seeing one way or another. He's got that. I think what's going to hurt Lance the most is probably the lack of range. Well, no, he's got some bows there too. Not a lot though.
No, I mean he's got him on the chariots and then on the
tracker
scouts,
and the chariots. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of shooting, because that's what I'd be worried about with Jordan's list is a couple of waivers could stack up.
Oh yeah,
2 or 3 columns.
I mean if he had some volume to get the volume of shots into the into the chariots or to the blade dancers, that would be one thing.
It's going to be smash face combat for most of the time, and Jordan does outpace him a little bit. So I'm going to go with Jordan on this, but I'm not a super confident. Like, I'm not calling a 20 or anything. I'm thinking more like a 14.
No, yeah,
because there's going to be a lot. They're going to trade back and forth, losing regiments and troops and stuff. So yeah, I'll go with Jordan here, and he will probably prove us both wrong.
Well, awesome. Next up, we've got Jeff Grajeda against, is it Tom Annis?
Yep.
All right. Well, I know Jeff. Jeff's a good guy. I played him at Lone Wolf last year. So Jeff is rocking the Varinger, and he starts off with 2 Hordes of Fallen, one with Brew of Strength, one with Helm of the Ram. He's got 2 regiments of Mounted Sons of Korgan, one with Caterpillar and one with Elvenkind, sort of like the best of both worlds. One's got Nimble and one's got Pathfinder. That's awesome.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's got 2 troops.
Points, though. Yikes.
Yeah, it is expensive. He's got 2 troops of Horse Raiders. He's got a Horde of Direfang with Brew of Haste. So that's a pretty solid choice. King on Chimera, and he gave them the Gift of Korgan, Gain Headstrong and Fury, and it has the Chant of Hate. And he rounds out the 2,000-point list with a Scald, which is mounted on a horse. So not a bad list. It's a pretty, I don't want to say stock standard, because it's hard to say nowadays with the changes that I've seen. I mean, he's got the 1 flyer, right? On the King on Chimera. But he's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of speed, man. Fallen move 8.
A lot of speed. His whole army's move 8, except for the speed 6 Direfang riders.
Right, and then they're 7 because of Ruin Haith, right? So even them are not that slow. So solid list.
It is. It's a pretty solid list. That speed is going to be outmatched, though, in his opponent. Tom Annis is bringing forces of Basileia, and he has got a little bit of speed himself. He's got 2 regiments of the Paladin Foot Guard, and both have exchanged for 2-handed weapons. So their defense is a little lower, but they got that crushing 1 in there. He has a Horde of Sisterhood Infantry with the Brew of Strength. He has a Horde of Alohi with Helm of the Ram. He has, I went too far, a regiment of Paladin Knights, and they have Caterpillar. He has 2 Sisterhood Panther Lancer troops. He has a Bearer of the Holy Icon with the Banner of a Griffin. That's an awesome upgrade. I love it anytime somebody slaps that on like a BSB. It's great. He has Gnaeus Salcitus, or Salcitus, or however the hell you pronounce that. And then he also has 2 Uralohis. Both have Blood Boil, and one of them has Blade of Slashing, and that rounds out Tom's list. So, Jeff, you didn't get to read, so you get to go first. What are your thoughts?
Sure, yeah. I don't know, man. I think Jeff's list is a lot more tanky, and this Basilean list really doesn't have a lot of heal support like I would like to see. I mean, like, Naeus is awesome, dude. Like, he's super solid, but I mean, he's even better if you have like a little bit better heal support. The Uralohais are cool, but he's not really using those for heal support so much.
Probably not.
He's got a lot of capability to go knock down some flying and stuff. But what I'm seeing is he's not really going to have. He's not going to really have like the Sisterhood infantry are supposed to do a lot of his lifting and stuff, and so are the Paladin foot guard. I just think that Jeff's army is going to be able to get so many combo charges. I mean, you can throw some chaff in the way, but I mean, it's if those chaff live like that. There's nothing that can single-handedly go after Jeff's Chimera here with range or even toe-to-toe that is going to win. I mean, even like those two Uri Lohai together is what it would take to do it, and even then, maybe not. Yeah, man, I gotta go with the known here. I think that Jeff is gonna be able to really put on the pain by turn 2. So that's gonna be hard to come back from. I'm gonna go with Jeff.
Okay. I'm gonna go the same direction. I think the list is solid. I mean, it's a super tough list. I mean,
literally the whole army's defense 5.
Exactly, and it's fast and it brings the pain. So, I mean, to be fair, the Basileans do have some flyers and they can move quick too, but I don't think they're going to withstand the onslaught that's coming their way.
Gotcha.
I think he needs Naeus to do a lot of thing if he's going to make it happen.
Yeah, it's going to come down to those 3 flying characters, Naeus and the 2 Uralohais, to really try and bring this game back for him. But I think he can totally do it. Tom is a newer player, but he also plays up here in DFW, so he gets to play a lot of the exalted veterans that went out to Masters and did well.
Right.
So he's not coming in just totally unprepared. He'll have a lot of practice under his belt, and he's got a pretty tough matchup here with Jeff. So I agree with you. I think Jeff does pull this out in the end, but I don't see a gigantic victory going if Tom is smart and tries to harass the flanks, because while Jeff is tough, Jeff doesn't have a whole lot of body to his list. He's got 6 units basically, or 5 units, and then that's about it. So he's going to have potential for flank threats coming in. So we're going to go with our first landslide.
Yeah, man, it's so hard not to. Like, I mean, most of Jeff's army just like doesn't even care about terrain, man. Yeah. Most of it doesn't even care about terrain. That's really rough.
It's pretty tough. Okay, moving on to table 33, we've got Josef. And if you guys are wondering why there was no 31, it's because we had a drop, and so I had to pull those players out. So 31 is probably where our ads or where our ringer is going to end up playing. So that's why we're on 33 now. We've only read 2 lists. 2 tables. So table 33, we've got Josef Johnson against Marc Taylor. Rob,
all right,
I think you're leading. Or no, Jeff's leading. That's right.
Yeah, it's me.
Go for it.
Josef Johnson. He's bringing some salamander love. He's got a regiment of ancients. He's got 2 troops of Gekkoda and a regiment of Gekkota. A horde of fire elementals, 1 regiment of lancers, a horde of rhinosaur with the blood of the old king. Really, really cost efficient, amazing item for them. He's got a battle platform. He's got a mage priest with Surge 8, weakness, and the inspiring talisman. He's got a clan lord on a fire drake with the banner of the Griffin.
Well, it's not flying, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Gecko to Skylords. He's got 2 of those bad boys, and they're both naked. No Blade of Beast Slayer on them. So that's the list.
And he's facing up against Marc Taylor, who is rocking Trident Realms, Horde of Placoderms with the Brew of Strength. He has 2 troops of River Guard. It's going to be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use River Guard.
They're
I mean,
awesome.
Oh, they're super popular.
Yeah,
down
it
here.
should be pretty awesome. And he's lowered their defense to 3+ on both of
Great
them.
weapon.
Exchange. And then he's got 2 hordes of Gigas, one with the Healing Brew. He's got a horde of Naiad Worm Riders, one and with the Blood of the Old King. He's got 2 Leviathan's Bane, because why not? He's got 2 Knuckers, 1 Naiad Envoy with the Boomstick, and then another one with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness. And then he has a Placoderm Defender with the wings of the Honeymaze. Yeah, that's a nice. I think Brian Colquitt might have had that in his list.
Yeah, except for now he has Ensnare.
Yeah, it's a tough.
Well, he gave it 2 hand weapons and dropped his defense to 5.
Correct.
So he's got that crushing 1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really worth it.
So, all right, I'm just going to go with Trident Realms. I don't know either one of these players, but I'm just going to go with Trident Realms. I think that's a Salamanders typically is an uphill battle, but
yeah,
I'm going to go Trident Realms.
Here's what bothers me about Joseph's list, and if he's listening, maybe he can tell us why. But so he's got the Battle Priest, his Mage Priest here, and he's paying the Surge tax for 35 points, and he's only got one thing he can Surge in the army. For me, I feel like I just don't even take Surge. Like, the Fire Elementals are fine even without Surge. You don't have to have Surge in order to operate them. Like, 35 points for the chance to maybe Surge 1 unit is kind of, I don't know, not really worth it in my opinion. But
well, he's got it situationally, right? So I mean, if the Surge is there, he'll take it, but otherwise it looks like he's going to be trying to throw weakness around, which I think
I feel like I'd rather
add.
put a breath weapon on the Fire Elementals and then have it, actually work all the time. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's hard to bet against Marc Taylor in this setup, right? I mean, great
I'm
player.
not betting against him.
Yeah, great player. I think he has the tools here, and a lot of stuff that's hitting on 4s coming in from Josef, and not a massive amount of like range or piercing. So yeah, I think Marc should have this one pretty handedly. A lot of ensnare to deal with stuff too. So
yeah,
I'll go with Marc.
I agree.
Double
with you.
Knucker, man.
Yeah,
Knuckers, bruh.
The
Knuckers for life.
Knuckers. I was gonna say, I'm worried about Trident Realms not having enough crushing to get through that defense 5 of the Salamanders, but he's pretty much upgraded.
Gigas have crushed 3,
he's got everything upgraded with that's going to have crushing. Like the Placoderms have crushing now, the River Guard have crushing. His Gigas come with it. The Worm Riders have it. Like everything's got crushing or piercing in his list. So it's not the one thing that Trident Realms tend to suffer with.
Piercing 4 on the Leviathans.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Marc Taylor too. So it sounds like another landslide. Sorry, Joseph. To be fair, you got matched up against a really good player though, so hopefully you'll learn some tricks. And I don't know, maybe you'll play him tight, and maybe you'll surprise us. Okay, moving on, we've got Dan Cammack versus the reigning U.S. Masters champion Patrick Zoro Allen. They're playing on table 34. Dan has Twilight Kin, and let me read that. Let me find Dan first. There he is. All right. Dan's list consists of a regiment of Buccaneers with Jar of the Four Winds, Shadows in a regiment, a regiment and troop of Reaper Guard, 2 troops of Blade Dancers, 2 troops of Gargoyles, two regiments of Abyssal Riders. Dark Lord on Black Pegasus with the Spark Stone. Nice. The High Priestess of the Abyss. She has a Bane Chant upgrade. She is mounted on a horse, and she has the Inspiring Talisman. He also has an Army Standard Bearer, and just to round it out, we've got Basusu the Vile. So pretty tough little Twilight Kin list there. So what's Patrick bringing this time?
Is that me? Okay, so
Yeah,
Patrick's bringing his salamanders he's been talking about doing. So he is bringing a horde of salamander primes, Brew of Sharpness. Regiment of Ancients with the Healing Brew. 2 troops of Gekota and a regiment of Gekota. 1 troop of Lancers. A horde of Rhinosaurs with the Blood of Old King. I feel like I just read this list.
Pretty
2 Commodons, which are awesome. Mage Priest. He's got Bane Chant 2. He's mounted and has Inspiring Talisman. That will do work. He's got a Clan Lord on a Fire Drake with the Banner of the Griffin. Feel like I just read this list. And 2 Skylords. Did Patrick write someone else's list for them too? Because that's like the same fucking list, isn't it?
Let me go pull it back up.
I feel like it is.
Side.
Except for the fire elementals.
Yeah, there were no fire elementals. They must be on like the same forum or something talking about things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because that's super close to the same thing.
Because the banner on the Griffin on the unflying Fire Drake, I understand why you're doing it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
2 different players are pulling it.
Mm-hmm.
Among all of the other. But
right.
Then again, like salamanders, you're going to take some of the better things, and rhinosaurs with Blood of the Old King is one of the better things to take. So
yeah, obviously.
Not really shocking.
Yeah, well, let Rob go first. He didn't read, so.
Yep.
Well, this is actually, believe it or not, a difficult one for me to predict. Because, first of all, it's hard to bet against Patrick Allen. He's the master. He's the man. But he's taking salamanders. And then we've got our Memphis Wonderkin, who has taken Kings of War to like a storm. And has, I mean, he's not ready yet, but give him another year. I think he's a very good shot of winning the Masters. The kid's really, I mean, he went to a couple of events with us, and I think he caught a couple people out. And here's the thing: it's the first game, so at least I know he won't pass out and be drunk, which is what happened at the last event.
Don't make any bets on that.
Well, wait, he's drinking with us on Friday, right?
Yeah, because he's riding with me and Billy, so I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But
so he might not be up for Saturday.
Right, because I just remember getting tapped on my shoulder at Manticon, and they're like, "Hey, your buddy's chucking," and yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean, he spanked some players that I think when like Carol Brown went into this game, I think maybe underestimating Dan, and he ripped her a new one. So.
I feel like she cannot beat Twilight Kin.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
that's like her bane.
Achilles heel.
So this is a tough list. This is a tough matchup because I want to pick Patrick just from an experience standpoint. Against, I mean, I have played Dan's list. It is not easy. It's a tough list. But you know what? I'm just going to say it's not Dan's time. I'm going to go with Patrick this time.
All right. I'll say Patrick as well, just because I see how Dan's list is meant to work here. And the thing is, it's very technical. It's a very intricate list with it being MSU the way it is. And I just think that Patrick has all the things to pick up MSU stuff as quick as he needs to do it and pick up some points that are going to be threatening pretty quick. which is a big deal because you get starting or a little bit of a lead on Dan's list, and stuff can just start falling apart.
Yeah, when things start rolling, they start rolling big.
Yeah, I mean, he's got so much
Nerve
defense 3
13,
stuff. Patrick's got so much reach, and I mean, he's really good at doing standoff stuff. And I don't really, you're not really going to catch Patrick on a lot of little tricksy stuff. So, man, I got to go with Patrick on this one.
Yeah, dude, look at those Skylords with the 5 attacks and the 3 attack at range. Like, they're hitting on 3s. You pop a couple of wounds, you can get those Nerve 13 units to start stalling out if you pop 2 or 3 wounds on them. So yeah,
I mean, you just chaff around the side and get a flank charge. They become actually pretty good.
Exactly. I'm gonna go with Patrick here too. I'm sure Dan's as good as Rob says, but Patrick's been thinking about this for a couple of months because he was talking about it in the car.
Daniel, I mean, you guys may or may not remember him. He won Hillbilly back in the day, and he's just getting back into it. So he's not. I don't think he's fully there yet, but he needs a couple, maybe another year, and he'll be crushing fools.
Cool.
All right, this is the table we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, this is the table. I think this is one of the first challenges that we had. We got Dan King versus Kris Kapsner on table 35.
And I am so excited to share with everybody Dan King's. Is this right? This is Mark 4. Is this the 4th list he turned in?
Yeah, because he got his dick crushed at the last tournament he went to with the list he took.
That's how many hand jobs he owes me. He owes Mark 4 hand jobs.
I see. Right. That's Mark Cox, but he said with a K instead of a C there. But all right, well, let's talk about Mr. King's list. He has 1, 2, 3 Hordes of Fallen. 1 with Helm of the Ram, 1 with Brew of Strength, and 1 with Blessing of the Gods. He has a regiment of Mounted Sons of Korgan with the Gift of Korgan, which gains him Headstrong and Fury, and those guys have Caterpillar. He has 2 troops of Horse Raiders, throwing weapons for bows. He has 2 Magus Conclaves, which... with the what's that? The Famulus?
Makes
elite. Yeah, it gives him the elite.
Yeah. He has a King and Chimera, which Gift of Korgan, which gives Headstrong and Fury, and gave him the Healing Brew, and he rounds out the list with a Scald, and mounted on a horse with the Lute of Insatiable Darkness. Really interesting because that's really close to Jeff's list. I think the big difference is there's Dire Fang. And this guy and Dan's got an extra unit of Fallen, and he's got
the Conclave,
the Conclaves.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting list. It's a tough list, and I'm dying to know how many Stampedes. Just tell me how many Stampedes.
He only runs 2.
Yeah, he's got 2. So here's Chris's list. He's starting out with his Goblin allies. He has a regiment and a horde of Fleabag chariots. He has a king on a chariot, and he has a whiz mounted on a Fleabag. Now going into Chris's actual herd army, he has 2 hordes of Guardian Brutes. One of them has Healing Brew. He has 3 Beast Packs in troop form. He has 2 Stampedes. One of them has Sharpness, and the other one has Elven Kind. It's pretty sexy right there. And then rounding it out, he has 2 Shamans. Both have Heal 5, and one of them has Fireheart. And that is Chris's list.
It's a tough list.
Yep. So this is Chris's exact list for Masters, short of he changed up some items and stuff. So I played against it. So I got a pretty good idea of how it works. Then. Yeah. So I tabled him, but short of like 2 units or two troops or whatever, he was still able to pick it up with the tokens and end up winning the game. But just seeing how he plays the army and stuff, and I'm looking at what Dan's got here. Thing is like Dan plays herd all the time, so it's one of those things. Like it's really hard to like catch somebody who plays that army all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't trick them with their own army, sort of thing.
Yeah, Terrain's not going to play a lot in this one because they both have a lot of Pathfinder. With all those Fallen and all of Chris's army's got Pathfinder. What I do like about Kris's list, Kris has a lot more reach out and touch someone than Dan does. You don't realize it, but after you do all the math on how much shots he actually has the capability to pop off a lot of chaff pretty quick. I don't think that Dan's going to get to see much use out of those horse raiders unless he's trying to hide them, and if he is, then it's going to be pretty hard to use them properly. Still really hard to call this one.
I think I know where I'm leaning. If you want to let me jump in real quick,
I think I'm going to bite the bullet and go with Kris on this one.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. I think I'm going with Kris. I've seen what the list can do. Dan doesn't have the threats that I had to put on Kris, and if he does pretty well on turn 1 and 2 like he did versus me, I think he's going to be able to get Dan in a predicament. And man, 2 stampedes, man. If you don't have chaff and you have 2 stampedes to deal with, it's a bad fucking day, man. I'm just saying.
See, I'm going to go the other route. I'm going to go with Dan, and a lot of it is built around the concept of it's hard to beat a guy with his own list, and Dan playing herd for a full year is going to have a lot of concept about what Kris can do and where the threats lie within the army. Kris does have a lot of shooting, but it's not hitting super reliably. I think Dan with those the elite shooters in the back, the Megas Conclaves, I think they'll get to do a little early work, and I'm guessing Dan is probably going to go at Kris's chaff. So I think they're going to try and wipe each other's chaff out, and then it's just going to be a what gets where sort of thing. Dan's smart enough to sneak a couple of things in front of Kris at the wrong moment, and I think Kris is going to be looking for it, but I think sometimes you can't stop Dan King when he wants to do something. So I'm going to go with Dan on this one. Sorry, Kris. It's what you get for not being here tonight.
I'll just jump in. I'm gonna go with Kris. That's it. He's a wily son of a gun, and I think he's gonna pull some stupid thing out that Dan's not gonna see coming. And who knows? Maybe Dan will table him to 1 unit, but Kris will still win on the scenario.
Well,
Been there.
Kris has a lot of experience doing that, apparently.
Yeah.
So if that happens, Kris gets to buy Dan a beer, or Jeff a beer, or maybe both.
Yeah.
Of them. I don't know. All right, we've got another challenge coming up. We've got table 36. We've got another person who probably should have been here, but he's slacking off and modeling instead.
I don't know that that's called slacking off, man.
He's slacking. He should do both at the same time. We've got Lennon Roy versus Ryan Smith. This will probably be the funnest table. That's my bet.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Jordan and Lance Brown should be a good one too.
Dude, I think Ryan and Lennon, the way they've been going back and forth for the last 3 months. I think that's gonna be the fun one. Go for it.
See what Lennon has. Lennon's bringing Ratkin. Shocker.
Yeah.
All right. He's got 2 regiments of tunnel slaves. He's got a regiment of warriors with the diadem and dragonkind, a regiment of warriors with the banner of the griffin, a horde of shock troops, a horde of brutes with brew of sharpness, another horde of brutes, blessing of the gods, a regiment of hackpaws with caterpillar, 1, 2, 3 weapons teams with piercing, enforcer with the inspiring talisman, great little guy there. He's got a warlock. The warlock has its traditional lightning bolt 5, but it has blood boil as well as the fire heart amulet. So that guy's gonna be pumping out some serious deeps for a turn. Swarm Crier, he's got one of those guys naked, and he's got the demon spawn with fly. Nice list.
It's a pretty good list.
Well, he is playing Ryan Smith. We all know who Ryan is, obviously. He's playing Ogres, though. Is this like the first time he's played Ogres?
First time this year?
This year, maybe.
He plays Ogres a lot.
Well, I mean, with Kings of War?
I think so. He played Ogres last year, right? That's what he was telling me, at least.
No, he played Herd.
No, he played Herd last year, yeah.
Oh, it was Ogres 2 years ago when it was Warhammer. Gotcha.
Okay.
He's played Ogres. I just don't know.
Okay. Well, so he's got an interesting list. He's got a regiment of red goblins. He has of warriors with the two-handed weapons. He's got a horde of warriors with two-handed weapons and Blessing of the Gods. He has 2 regiments of Berserker Braves. He has a horde of Berserker Braves with Brew of Strength. He's got a regiment of Siege Breakers with the Brew of Haste. He's got 2 army standards, one with the Warbaw of Kaba and one with the Flying Hammer. He's got 2 Warlocks, one with Wind Blast and the other with the Soul Drain and Amulet of the Fireheart. He has a Mammoth and he has a Giant. That is an unusual ogre list.
MSU Ogres, bro.
Yeah, I'm dying to see if it works. Every time I've tried like lots of regiments, they're low nerve value. But the thing is, a lot of his are berserkers, so that's good. They don't they're fearless.
Yeah. And I mean that soul drain's gonna be legit as fuck on them too, man. Like that's gonna be awesome.
I'm not a fan of the Mammoth though. I've taken the Mammoth 5 or 6 tournaments. It's garbage. Just take it under Giant. I mean, I know he took it because it's a sweet model, right? But
I like it.
Dude, it doesn't get. I don't understand why it doesn't have Strider. I know it's not a Giant, but it's as big as a Giant. Why can't I have Strider? Without Strider, it's a big freaking deal.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think you just had to play it differently.
Well, it's got the set attacks. I mean, that's
it has set volume of attacks.
Yeah.
Set volume of attacks and crush, shoot, and TC too. So, I mean, it's a little bit more dependable than a Giant, but I know what you mean. Everybody plays a little different. I think Ryan's just the type of person that likes to have both of the options available to him when he needs them. So,
yeah. Well, Marc, you didn't read, so what do you think?
Yeah. So going into this, I think, I'd like to ask your opinion on the ogre list. I had to step out there for a second. Did you like it generally, or do you think it's missing some points?
I mean, for me, I think it's against Ratkin, I think it'll work.
Just the list in general.
I've never seen a list like this, honestly. Okay. I mean, it's more of a lot of Berserker Braves and Warlocks.
Yeah.
And then just a lot of just warriors, just bodies. I'm not sure why he took the Red Goblins, the regular Red Goblins. I mean, I know it's a little shooting, but I would have taken probably, because his whole army, the fastest thing is 7. And it probably would have been nice to have a Goblin Bigot mounted on, a Goblin mounted on a Bigot, or maybe a unit of Scouts, just to get that little bit of range that can go out there. But, I mean...
Yeah, knowing Ryan, he wants to put the models in, so...
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got Siege Breakers. I mean, he's got a regiment. He's got 3 units of Braves. He's got 2 units of War. I mean, he's got a lot of bodies. It's just going to be... I don't know. It's an interesting list. Yeah. I mean, the Ratkin list, would you describe it as heavily shooty or more combat?
It's a lot of shooting, but I mean, it does pretty good mid-range too, but it has a lot of shooting. It has like...
It's all mid to short.
It has about 45, 50 shots. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this. I just played Ogres this weekend at a tournament, and I was tabled by Elves in 3 turns. So, Ogres don't really do well when you get a lot of shooting. Unless, let me ask you this. Are you going to have some Texas-sized terrain? Is there going to be lots of terrain on the table?
There's going to be a lot of terrain. Yeah,
that'll help. That'll help. Because without the terrain, it's going to be a brutal thing. But I think, you know what? I'm going to go with Ryan, just because Lennon never plays. That's why. I'm going to go with Ryan. And Lennon's going to be awestruck by the coolness that is Ryan. And he's playing a celebrity. He's just, that's what's going to happen.
So I'm actually going to go the other way. I think Lennon's going to win this. And here's why. His rat list is pretty good. Like, it's not the end all be all, but it's really balanced. There's a couple of things that I probably would have done a little differently, but overall, like, he's got all the components that a balanced fighty style of Ratkin list has. The hack paws, if he can get them to work this weekend, I'll be really surprised. But Ryan has, a little bit of shooting. If Ryan's not throwing the lightnings at the hack paws, he's throwing them at something else. If those hack paws get in with that caterpillar, they'll be able to do some work. It's just whether or not they can actually get there. Because Ryan's fastest thing, like you said, is 7. So he's actually going to outspeed Ryan a couple of places and then match him at speed with everything else. So I think with that and the modest amount of shooting that he's got, it's going to give him an advantage over Ryan.
Well, I think one thing that Ryan does have going for him here is all of the berserkers can be pumping those warlocks up. One turn he can sit there and really zip in some pretty hard damage and throw that Fireheart amulet and drop a soul drain in there on top of that, and the soul drain gets boosted as well. So soul drain 9 after you've already done some good damage and stuff, or the soul drain being able to be cast into combat, which I think the warlock is really, really powerful for, because you can get close. You need to stay close to all those guys that are attacking and still be not put him into combat, but still be able to cast into combat, heal the berserkers and stuff like that. I think it's a really solid list, and I think I'm going to give the edge to Ryan on this one because he has a decent amount of ranged reach out that you can kind of threaten that rat fiend early, and if you can kind of keep him out of if you can kind of keep him playing that guy timid instead of just getting out there and getting shit done with him, if you can put the threat value on him, people kind of try to play him back a little bit or hide him.
Yeah, but you got to remember those lightning bolts are taking cover now. And I mean, you and I have played with it a little bit, and that cover, that's a pretty significant thing.
I know, he's still height 4. He's got to hide. He'd only be able to hide him.
Forests and all sorts of stuff to hide behind.
Sure. No, I know, but I mean, he could be in a forest or whatever. I'm saying, I think.
If he's shooting over other ogres, he's taking a -1 there too, because there's a lot of ogres on that board.
You don't have to shoot over him, though. I'm just saying.
Depending on where depending on where it flies, he will.
Sure, but I like Ryan's list a little bit better for this one. I play against Ratkin literally every week, so if it were me, I'd rather have the ogre list personally. So
cool.
They're both good lists.
All right, we are going to 37, and we have our newbie, the guy who won the International Campaign Day drawing, Kevin VonFeldt, is playing Lance Kennedy. And they are on table 37. I've got Kevin's list. Let me pull it up.
He's playing Lance Kennedy?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and you're reading his list, so go ahead and get ready. So here is what Kevin is bringing to the table. 2 hordes of revenants.
Do you even need to read it? You know it by heart.
One of them, I've seen it so many times. One of them has exchanged the shields for the crushing one, and one of them has not. Then he has a troop of race. Oh, that's what was throwing me off. He put unit names in there, and so I was reading those like they were items. He has a legion of zombies with the brew of sharpness. He has 2 revenant cav. One of them has the caterpillar. One of them has brew of haste. He has 2 catapults. He has a king on undead worm, which is flying, and it has the healing brew. He also has 2 army standard bearers. One of them is on foot. One of them is mounted. He has a Lich King with the Bane Chant upgrade, heal 6, and Fireheart. And rounding it out, he has a Necromancer also with Bane Chant. And that is Kevin's list.
Yep. All right. Let's see what Lance is bringing. Abyssal Dwarfs, as per the usual. He is rolling 2 regiments of Immortal Guard, 2 troops of Gargoyles, a horde of Grotesque with the Potion of Caterpillar, and another horde of Grotesque naked. He's got a Dragonfire team, 2 heavy mortars, 1 slave driver, which is a BSB with the Banner of the Griffin, a Abyssal Half-Breed Champion.
The Grander of the Biffin, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, Grander of the Biffin. Abyssal Half-Breed Champion, which no one seems to leave home without. Bususu, the Dickhead Vial. 2 regiments of Tortured Souls as some allies. All right.
I'm gonna go with the Abyssal Dwarves. I don't know.
Because they're gross.
Yeah, because they're gross. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like the pretty standard lock, stock, and filthy dwarf list, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I don't know. I don't know that you really need the 2 regiments of Tortured Souls. I think it's pretty, like, you just don't need it.
Yeah.
But
because everything's got to
get
come
it.
to you anyway, right? Like, you don't really need to reach out.
It doesn't have like, it has no synergy with anything in this list. You know what I mean? Like, if you had like the dragon, you know what I mean? If you had the Lord on a dragon, maybe. But there's no synergy.
Maybe they kind of track up behind him. I don't know.
Nah, dude. Susu doesn't need any help.
That's true.
Susu's a fucking lone wolf, dude. He could do it by himself. Yeah, I don't know. That list's pretty gross. The only thing I don't understand on it is the Tortured Souls, but whatever.
So we're doing land side for Lance?
No, I'm gonna go with Kevin. Kevin's been getting a higher education here every week. He comes over here to play with me and Marc like every single week. You know, he hasn't played against Abyssal Dwarves yet, but he's played against a lot harder stuff than what Lance is bringing, and you know, seeing how that stuff works. So, I mean, he's been getting his dick punched for months now and playing against high competition. So anybody who's bringing any competition less than that, like Kevin's gonna exploit it. So the other thing you got to keep your eye on here is Kevin's units don't go away to a stiff breeze, dude. Like, all his shit sticks around. He has heal capability. He has surge out the ass. You know, Lance doesn't have any tricks. His list is very straightforward. It doesn't have any kind of kitschy stuff going on. And Undead, you always have to watch out for that kind of tricksy stuff. So that's a wild card for me. So I'm going to go with Kevin.
Gotcha. I mean, you're right. Kevin is a smart dude, and he has picked up this game super fast to a very admirable level. I think his unfamiliarity with the Abyssal Dwarves is going to be his downfall here.
Could be.
Right. We are jumping over to table 38. We have Matt Hakala versus Zach Clark.
And I've got Matt's list.
Yep. Let me grab Zach.
Yeah, he is from Dojo.
Yep.
And he is rocking Kingdoms of Men. He has 2 regiments of Foot Guard, one with Healing Brew and one with the Banner of the Griffin. He's got a horde of Foot Guard with Blessing of the Gods. He's got a horde of Heavy Pike with the Brew of Strength. He has a horde of Pole Arms Block. He's got 2 regiments of Berserkers. He's got 2 Siege Artillery, 1 Ballista. He's got 3 heroes mounted on horse. An Army Standard Bearer with Sparkstone. 1, 2, 3 wizards. First one's got Bane Chant with Fireball. Bane Chant replacing Fireball with Bane Chant and Lightning Bolt. So I guess 2 of them have that, and then the last one just has Bane Chant and Inspiring. That is a weird list. I don't know what to think about it. There's a lot of units that are pretty big.
I have played against it.
It looks really odd on paper, and it's
pretty good.
It works really well.
Yeah, so a good list. I mean, it's interesting. It definitely would. If you've not seen that list before, I think it would be hard to play against. Trying to formulate in your mind, you know, what do you attack? I mean, he's got some defense 5. He's got like all kinds. He's all over the place.
Yeah,
and then those berserkers. Those berserkers dish out some punishment. So I don't know. Gonna be interesting. Who's he playing?
He's playing Zach Clark, and Zach is rocking Twilight Kin. If I'm reading this right, let me double check. Yeah, Twilight Kin. All right. He has a horde of crossbowmen with Heart-Seeking Chant. He's got 2 troops of gargoyles. He's got 2 regiments of Dark Knights, One of them has Fire Oil. The other one has Brew of Haste. He has the Abyssal Riders with Caterpillar. 2 Twilight Bolt Throwers. He's got a Hydra. He has a Dark Lord on Black Dragon with Blessing of the Gods. A High Priest of the Abyss with the Inspiring Talisman. And an Army Standard Bearer mounted with the Diadem of Dragonkind. So pretty solid looking Twilight Kin list. Jeff, you didn't read. What are your thoughts?
Well, normally I'll pick Zach in most instances when we do these matchups. However, I have played against Matt's list or a extremely close variant of the same list. It works. Matt knows exactly what he's doing with it. It's a good list. And I think he's going to really catch out a lot of people. He has all the tools he needs to do it. And like I've said time and time again, give me a list that has all the tools I need so I can grab them when I need them. And Matt has that. I think Matt is going to win this one, and I think he's going to be a pretty good contender for the weekend as well.
I'll jump in. I think Matt. The thing is, the Twilight Kin's got maybe a little bit more speed, but I just don't think they have the sustaining power to. Once Matt finally does get there, I think in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, when the line's closed, unless Zach is smart and plays, around the corners and tries to jump behind and stuff. That's the only thing that may work.
But see, that's the thing is like it's so hard to get around Matt's list. I know,
because he's got a real wall of bodies.
It's so hard to get around that line. It really is.
Yep. He's got. I mean, and let's not.
You can do it. You can do it.
He's got some things that can actually take care of the job, but he's going to have to like double and triple some of the things.
Yep.
And Matt's going to try and surround him. But then again, Matt's stuff, when it starts dying, it'll stick around, but it's easy to kill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question about it.
You can kill it.
Yeah.
It's just
you can lose any one of these units and not really give a shit. That's the thing,
Yep. Yeah, I got to agree with you. I think Matt's going to win this one. Zach's got a good fighting chance, but I'm not picking a huge win because Kingdom of Men take a lot lot of casualties in the process. Like I said, but he's gonna.
I'll normally pick Zach in these matches, but it's rough.
Yep. All right. We have another challenge on table 39. We have Slobber Knocker versus Bayou Battles. We've got Ken Eubanks versus Rick Hoy.
I've got Ken here.
Yep.
So looks like Ken is bringing some Berenger. He's got a troop of warband with great weapons, another troop of warband with great weapons, 2 troops of Reavers, 2 regiments of Fallen, and 2 hordes of Fallen. One of the hordes has Brew of Haste to make them speed 9 because they're not fast enough as it is. He's got 2 Magus Conclaves with the Elite upgrade. He's got a Chieftain on a Dire Fang with Fire Oil. That Chieftain on Dire Fang is just stupid good. Stupid good. He's got a Scald, Naked, and Hersha the Fallen.
I've got the next one. And I've got Rick. I've got the next one. I've got Rick Hoy. I pull this list up here. I pull up his list here. I got Rick Hoy. He is rocking Empire of Dust. He's got a horde of skeleton warriors with the Casket of the Damned and the Dragon Shard Shield. That's interesting because that gives him the defense 6 for a turn, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid unit. Then he's got 2 troops of skeleton archers, which I actually rate pretty high because 5s, but the fact that you've got you've got 2 units that they break on a 12, they're fearless, and they only cost him 75 points. Then he's got 2 regiments of 20 mummies, one with Blessing of the Gods. He's got 2 regiments of scavengers, He has a regiment of chariots. That's an unusual choice. I know Nathan Arnold has taken chariots in his.
I like them. The regiments are really good.
He's got a horde of Revenant Worm Riders with the Caterpillar. Solid choice. 2 Balefire Catapults. He's got the Pharaoh weakness and you got to have Wings of the Honeymaze. Yeah, got to have that. Cursed High Priest with heal 4 mounted on a horse, and a second one with heal 4 and the Fire Hearts. And then he's got an Undead Standard Bearer with the Banner of the Griffin. So this is one thing I've been thinking about. The Banner of the Griffin.
Better on a horde.
Yeah, exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah, put it on a big unit to spread that love out, man. Yep. I mean, I guess the flip side, though, is if you want the horde to get rallying, then they don't get it, right? But still.
That's the sacrifice for it. Yep. That's the sacrifice for it is, then the unit it's on doesn't get the rallying. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a sacrifice, but.
I personally do like it on like an army standard bearer because you're throwing inspiring and rallying, and you just hide it. You hide it behind a unit or something, and the footprint, the area effect isn't as big, but at least you're helping your units out, all of them, not 2 of them.
Yeah, they both have bonuses and negatives, but I prefer the horde personally. But
I like the individual.
But he's not on a horse either, which kind of I don't know. If he was mounted, you could get him to where he needs to be, right? But.
So while we're picking out things in that list,
I mean, I agree with you. I think when you're shambling, the hero's not shambling.
So
the standard bearer is shambling.
He is.
Yeah, he's shambling. Yeah.
You're
one
only
I'd like
5.
to bring up in case Rick's watching. In the future, if you take that skeleton warrior unit and make it the spearman for the small point upgrade. You're making them defense 6 for the turn, but they'll not have phalanx. So just in case something has thunderous charge or something like that, when you're doing your halt maneuver, then you're always going to be defense 6. The only thing that's going to get you down is crushing strength. I think that for the small point investment, that's super worth it. And in case he doesn't know the trick, you could do that halt maneuver with your with that unit. And then you can still surge him into combat, and then when you get counter charge, you're still going to be defense 6. So I'm sure he probably knows that one, but just in case you don't, that's a super, super awesome move.
Rick's yelling at his computer right now. Damn it, you gave away my secret.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't read. I'll go first. The thing I was thinking when I was looking at the matchup, I was like, the Varangar aren't going to have a whole lot of units to contend with the Empire of Dust, but he's got a fair amount of drops. A lot of them are fallen, so that helps. I'm going to go with Ken on this one. I think these Varangar are going to get the job done. Rick's got some surge capability, but Ken's spread pretty wide in some cases.
I'm going to go with Rick just because I like Empire Dust. I think they've got some sustaining power, and I think they can whittle down that elite. I mean, yes, the Varangar is going to hit by like a ton of bricks, but there's a lot. I mean, those mummies are pretty.
They are. They're very good.
Yeah. Well, Ken's got that real elite army, and that's all fine and dandy, but I think, again, Rick's got the tricks, and I always kind of go towards the tricks. And like Rob said, mummies, man. Mummies will do amazing things when you don't expect it. And with the surge, mummies can really do just absolutely insane things you never see coming. So I'm going to go with Rick on this one as well.
Okay. Cool. We are moving on to table 40. This is probably one of the most underrated tactical games that we've got as far as matchups go for the first round. We've got Alex Chaw versus Tim Gleese.
Alex Chavez, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Good player. And Tim Gleese, he was at Alamo, had a really nasty goblin list.
All right, so I've got
Alex. Is this a challenge? Because this is an amazing matchup.
This was not a challenge. This was War Score working its magic.
Wow, that's great. That's going to be a great game.
There's a lot of good games in this first round, all just random matchups. It's pretty cool. So Alex has got a troop of rangers with fire oil. He's got a regiment of earth elementals, a horde of earth elementals with healing brew, and a horde of earth elementals with the spark stone, which I really like that on his shambling unit. He's got 2 regiments of berserker Brocks. One of them has Helm of the Ram. The other has the Caterpillar. He has an army standard bearer with the ukulele of insatiable darkness. 2 berserker lords. One of them is mounted with the blade of the beast slayer. The other one is not mounted but has the wings of the honey maze. He has a stone priest with Bane Chant 2 and Banner of the Griffin. Solid. And he's got 2 greater earth elementals. Rock solid list.
Literally.
Defense 6.
Pun intended. So what's Tim bringing?
Is that me? Okay.
That's you.
Tim is bringing some greenskins, bro. He has 1, 2, 3 hordes of trolls. Just what you need to get through some rock hard rock.
That's correct.
3 troops of mob east. He's got a regiment of Fleabag riders with Caterpillar. Super tactical. Double trombone, double rock lava. 2 flagets with mounts. 3 flagets. Sorry. 3 flagets with mounts. 2 mincers. Another good combo there. He took some herd allies. He's got a horde of lichens and a lichen alpha as well. Whew. This is gonna be a fucking great table to watch.
No shit. Rob, you didn't read. What are your thoughts?
Well, I just remember what Gibney said about Tim Gleese's list, because I think he played him first round at Alamo, and it really jacked up his undead list pretty hard. And on the flip side, I know what Alex Chavez did to George O'Connell. Round 1.
Chavez, the Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, man. Just took him. I mean, that defense 6 is no joke. So,
no,
you know what,
it's tough.
Yeah. So, go with Alex, just because he is the best player. Well, maybe it's a toss-up in the Mid-Atlantic. Is it him or is it Mike Austin? It's one of those guys. And I'm going to go with Alex. I think Alex can take out Tim. If anybody can beat Tim's list, it's Alex.
Fair enough. I have played Alex's list, or extremely close to it. Looks like he put in a BSB and dropped out one of the greater earth elementals and some small token like item changes. He definitely knows what he's doing with the list. Thing is, Tim is a super tactical player, plays with some of the best players in Houston every single week. You're not going to catch him out on anything. He has crushing strength everywhere he needs it to get through the rocks. He has regen and heal capability, you know what I mean? Whereas Alex doesn't have that, and actually has chaff units, which is going to be a big deal. Pretty mobile, and those trombones can't be overlooked when you're talking about slayers being in there, because they'll just wipe them out. I think this is going to be a great match either which way it goes, but I know both these players, seen their play styles, and I got to give the edge to Tim on this one. I think this is Tim's game to lose.
It's interesting you put it like that, because I look at Tim's list and I see just what you saw, a lot of capability to get the job done. I don't know that Tim has gone up against an army that is so much defense 6 like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to oversell towards the middle at the defense 6. And I think Alex is going to make him pay for it.
He will. Yeah, if he does, he will.
And
sure.
that's why I agree with you. Tim's list on list, both lists can absolutely take each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Alex played you, he played me, and he played Robbie. And Robbie's list is very similar to Tim's list. So Alex has already gotten a good look at what the weapon teams, war trombones, whatever you want to call them, can do, because I did it with mine, and I'm sure Robbie did it with his. So Alex is going to be wary of those and play correctly to them. and he's also seen like what the capability of all those trolls can do. So I think, if he could go back in time and play Robbie a little differently, maybe he would have. And I think this will probably be Alex's chance. So I'm going to go with Alex on this one. I don't think it's going to be a big win either way because it's going to be hard to get through all that rock. But yeah, I think Tim can absolutely win it. If Tim wins it, I'm not going to be surprised. But like I said, guys, this is probably the best matchup general and list on list in the field from what I've seen so far.
And it might just come down to scenario.
Dan King and Kris, yeah.
What's up?
It's those two and then Dan King and Kris.
Yeah.
That'd be really tight.
Well, I just feel like these two lists are kind of polar opposites from each other. Yep. In a lot of ways. One of them's trying to kill a whole lot. The other one's trying to be sturdy and survive a whole lot. And then you've got great generals behind them too. So cool.
Well, let's keep moving on.
Yep. Let's go to table 41. We've got Jim Adams and Mike Grajeda.
Yep. I've got Jim's list.
All right.
He is rocking elves. He's got a horde of kindred archers with the heart-seeking chant. Funny how you see that a lot now that another magical artifact's gone.
Item's gone. Yeah.
Got a regiment of Palace Guard. He's got a regiment of Stormwind Cavalry. He's got a horde of Drakon Riders. He has 2 bolt throwers. He has a Dragon Kindred Lord with the Healing Brew, a Drakon Rider Lord with the Mace of Crushing, the Green Lady, the Green Lady's Wild Guard with the Blood of the Old King. It's a regiment. And that is the list. It's a interesting list. Very few magical artifacts. I mean, he's got a lot of low point ones, a lot of 15 pointers and stuff like that. Really, the only expensive one is the Heart-Seeking Chant on the Horde. So what's he rocking up against?
He's playing Mike Grajeda, and Mike is bringing Herd. He's got a horde of Spirit Walkers with the Brew of Haste. He has a troop of Harpies. He's got Lycans, 2 hordes, one with Brew of Strength, the other with the Helm of the Ram. He has 1, 2, 3 Beast Packs in troop form. He has a Stampede, horde of those with Blood of the Old King. He's got a Chimera with the wing upgrade, so it flies. 1, 2 shamans. No, 3 shamans, sorry. The first shaman, heal 5, mounted with Fireheart. The second shaman, heal 5, mounted with Banner of the Griffin. And the third shaman, heal 5 and mounted. So that is Mike's list.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys go first because I have some inside info on this. So.
Okay. Let me take a look at Jim's list.
It's an interesting matchup.
It is.
Mike's got a little bit of heal, which is good. I think the Herd, if there's enough terrain, he can get in there. But like on the flip side, you got the Green Lady. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, she flies. She's got heal 8. She's regen 5. He's got the Green Lady's Wild Guard, regen 5 with Vanguard, Pathfinder. So, Edge. And I've played Mike at Rock Wars maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. So I know he's a competent general. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Jim Adams. I don't know Jim. He's from Chucarabra. That's your neck of the woods, right?
He's Orange County,
West Coast.
Yeah, so that's cool, but I'm gonna give the edge to Jim based on the list. I think he's got more tools. He's got obviously a lot more shooting, and he's actually got more mobility with flyers. He's got 4 flying units. So,
yep,
he does.
And Vanguard.
So yeah, I'm gonna give the list. I'm gonna give the advantage to Jim based on the list.
I think I got to go with Mike Grajeda. Every time I bet on him, I am never sorry about it. Jim's got a pretty damn solid list, and it's going to be a tough fight. But I think Mike is smart enough to figure out how to get around it and how to fight to his strengths and keep the elves from kind of dancing around him the whole time. So I'm going to go with Mike.
All right. So I wrote Jim's list. Jim, it doesn't really play a whole lot. He's coming out for the weekend. He's just coming out to chill, and he's borrowing an army. So we're just kind of, Jody had some models, and he's only ever played elves, so he's gonna play elves. And
Okay,
Jody
so
had
he's
some
at least
models.
played elves before. So it's
Yeah,
not
he's
like
played
he's
against
never
me a
played
couple
it.
times in California when he was
Okay.
learning the game and stuff like that. But I mean, Jim's a really good general for Warhammer, and
Yeah,
he's
he is.
pretty much just transferred it over here. So he's played elves before. He knows what he's playing, and I'll give him a quick tutorial on how to play the list and stuff when he gets there. But yeah, I wrote the list. It's a super solid list. He has the capability to do anything he wants with this list. Pretty much, you guys saw what I was trying to do with that. Jody just told me the units he had, and I put together something that would fit within it, and then I bring in a couple models for him as well. That being said, Mike should pick this up, but it definitely won't surprise me that Jim is able to make something happen with this, because it's super capable of taking out what Mike has. So it'll just be depending on if Jim pilots it, right? But I could see it going either which way.
So
I'm
who's
going
your
to
pick?
put my favorite. I'm going to go with Mike just because of the experience level.
All right, and with that, we're jumping over to table 42. Here's another challenge for best orc in the room. We've got Seth Cook versus Todd Serpico.
Well, Seth isn't taking orcs, so he loses.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I have a question. These guys are playing as a team at Lucy Ball. So, okay, let me start with this. Is Todd just tired of being the second best Ratkin player in Texas?
He's sick of it, dude. He's just done.
Okay.
No.
So he's going to try to mix it up. But what I don't understand is he's going to play the best orc player in the U.S. So,
that's true.
Well, it's technicality, but it's true.
Kind of
yes.
Stretch.
So I just, this one is an enigma. So
yeah.
Jeff, you're reading first.
Sure, I'll go ahead and get started on Seth's. All right, so Seth is rocking Vernger. He's got, and this is a super compact list. Holy shit. 2 hordes of cave trolls, 2 hordes of fallen, 1 with brew of strength, 1 with the helm of the ram, 2 troops of wolves for chaff. He's got mounted sons of Korgan regiment with life leech and caterpillar. He's got Direfang riders, a horde of those guys with life leech and brew of haste, 1 magus with bane chant, and 2 BSBs. Both of them mounted, 1 with the uke of darkness and 1 with the banner of the griffin. That is it.
And Mr. Todd Serpico is rocking, as we said, orcs. But it's not just orcs, because he's that guy. He's got to have some goblin allies. So he's got 2 troops of maw beasts, which I think Patrick may have started that. A lot of folks on those. I mean, I'm seeing the maw beast packs everywhere now. He's got a regiment of fleabag riders. He's got a bigot mounted on a fleabag. And then in terms of his main army, he's got the orcs. He's got a horde of axe, a horde of great axe, a horde of trolls, 2 regiments of gore riders, a crusher on a slasher, with the fly special rule, because that's what you do. And
it comes with that standard, right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, well, no, it's.
You gotta unclick it.
You gotta paint. Yeah,
it. There you go.
That's right. And then he's got 3 god speakers. Is that right? Yeah, he's got 3 god speakers. 1 with healing 2 and inspiring talisman.
I see 2 god speakers.
No, just 2. Yeah. 2 god speakers. 1 with heal 2 and inspiring talisman. 1 with heal 2 and the banner of the griffin. And then 2 war drums. I mean, it's orcs. So
that's how you play orcs right there, dude. God speakers, bro. Take a lesson, Seth.
Pretty good.
Well, what's interesting is these are 2 lists that just want to do the same thing.
Right, yeah. They both want to do the same thing. Todd let me down here, man. He doesn't have any life leech or whatever. The soul drain. That's what I mean. No soul drain on the God speakers. A little bit of a fail there, but other than that, all in all, pretty dang good. I would not take the heal and take the soul drain instead, personally. But other than that, pretty solid. I'm going with Todd on this one all day. Just the amount of drops and the chaff capability. Seth's army is so elite, but on top of that, it has no big nasty to like be a just crazy threat to Todd the entire game that he can't deal with. So that's not really something you want to go head to head with without that ace in your pocket, in my opinion. I think Todd's going to
Plus
do
the lack of chaff too.
Yeah, it's just going to. I think if Todd loses this, I mean, he's going to get a lot of shit. So
I'll go next. I think I should pick Todd, but I'm going to pick Seth.
you're going to pick Seth? Okay.
I'm going to pick Seth.
If there's anybody that can find a way to lose this matchup, it'll be Todd.
It's Todd. Yeah.
I'm going to get pissed off text messages from both of them anyway, so I don't really care at this point. Yeah, I think the lack of chaff is really going to hurt Seth. It's going to be rough, man. You've got a really strong punch you in the face army, but I think Todd's going to try and exploit that wing slasher on you, and if he does, it's going to be lights out pretty quick. So yeah, I'm going to go with Todd to win here. And click that. All right, we have one more challenge, and then one more table after that. We have the biggest game of KOW probably in the world by weight.
By weight.
This is what they said. So
This is the heavyweight class.
this is the
Ultra
heavyweight.
heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Jody Stubblefield versus Q Bohn. This is table 43, and I have Jody's list. Let me find it. Jody. There he is. Jody is rocking the herd. He has 2 troops of tribal warriors. He has a troop of spirit walkers. He has a troop of harpies. He has a regiment of brutes. He has 2 hordes of lichen. He has 2 stampede hordes. One has brew of haste. The other has blood of the old king. He has 2 shamans. One has heal 5 and the fire heart. And to round it out, he has a lichen alpha with the Dark Lord's onyx ring. And that is Jody's list. Pretty small, honestly.
Well, I mean, it takes up a lot of real estate, actually, if you start looking at it.
It takes up a lot of real estate.
Drop-wise, yeah.
Regiment, troop. There's a lot of little units. And then, 2 stampedes, but...
Well, he's got 2 hordes of lichens, too.
True. But those
All
are
right.
the stats, I think.
I took a peek at Q's earlier, but this is pretty funny. So he's bringing Trident Realms. Got some love for him on that, but this is a fucking crazy list. All right. I think it was 6, but let me recount them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
6. 6 troops of River Guard with great weapons.
Holy shit.
So that's one way to do it.
Lord.
A horde of Depth Horrors, yeah, my man. He's got a horde of Gigas. He's got a horde of Naiad Worm Riders. He's got a Leviathan's Bane. He's got a Coral Giant. Naiad Worm Rider, Centurion, and a Trident King. Q has 0 magic items, because magic items are for bitches.
So 2 pretty wonky lists. Rob, you get to go first because you didn't read.
I am going to go... I'm going to go with mass here, and I'm going to go with Q.
Well, you chose the right mass. You definitely has more mass.
It's
interesting.
interesting. It's an interesting matchup.
I'm going to go with the tried and true. Jody underperforms at every tournament he's ever gone to as far as winning games.
So that means you're picking Q then.
So Q all fucking day, no matter what. Because Q is going to be smart, and he knows. He's going to be like, I'm not even going to play this game until turn 4, because that's when Jody's dice stereotypically fuck him. So
I'm just going to let Jody's dice roll themselves.
He's going to bounce around all over the field, wait till turn 4, and Jody's like, God damn it, I know what he's doing. Yeah, Jody's going to lose this one. It's going to happen, just given.
I don't know. Q's got a really bad run of luck in this in this game too. So
He took the Trident King, bro.
he's got Aquaman as his Trident King.
No, he's got Aquaman for the.
Oh, that's his Lone Ranger.
Lone
That's right.
Ranger, yeah.
That's right. That's still cool. Yeah, dude. These are so wonky on the list. It's hard to call anything. So
I know it is. It really is.
I think Q will win, but I'm picking Jody so that when we go back and do these matchups, it'll make me look like I was smart. All right, final table. We've got table 44. We have Fred Whitney versus Stephen Firth. Another table with really, really good generals.
Yeah, and I've got Fred's list here.
Yes, you do.
He is rocking the herd. He has 2 regiments of Spirit Walkers, a troop of Harpies, 2 hordes of Guardian Brutes, one with Brew of Courage and one of Banner of the Griffin. He has a regiment of Centaur Longmanes. He has 2 Brutox. He has a Great Chieftain on a chariot with the Caterpillar and the bow. And he has a Shaman with heal 5 and the Shroud of the Saint, and another Shaman with heal 5 and Fireheart. So 2,000 points. Interesting list. Has he played a lot of Herd? I know he's mostly played Trident Realms. I thought the last few times.
He's been playing Herd a lot lately. Like he couldn't get really Trident to work for him, but he was between playing Trident and Herd. Full disclosure, I wrote this list for him because he wanted to. Some ideas for which way to go because he just hasn't been great
used to
with
play a lot of Beastmen too, though, like back in the day. So it should
be a comfortable
big
fit
time.
for him.
It's a good list. Good list.
It is a really solid list. I know what models he had, and the list is solid. So.
All right, so here's what Steven is bringing to the table. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 troops of gargoyles. He has got 2 regiments of the Abyssal Half-Breeds. One of them has the Caterpillar, the other has Brew of Haste. He has 2 hordes of the Abyssal Grotesques. One of them has Wine of Elvenkind. The other has Brew of Courage. He's got 1, 2, 3 Half-Breed Champion. And he's got Azusu the File. And that is Vile. Sorry. That is the list.
Steven's going to get his shit pushed in. Like, really? Fucking bad, dude. Yes. Yeah. It's going to be bad. I mean, on top of that, let's figure out what scenario we're playing, and then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 individuals that are not going to score in a majority of scenarios.
Individuals score, Jeff. They contribute.
Well, they can't pick up loot tokens or pillage or anything like that.
But we're not playing loot and pillage. We're playing lone wolf scenarios.
Well, you know what I mean. Anything that you pick up tokens.
Okay, if we were playing a different set of scenarios, yeah, he could be in trouble.
Anyway, yeah, dude, I think he's in a world of hurt here. He's just not going to be able to, like, the Spirit Walkers. He's got some good chaff here. He's got a little bit of pokey, which he can get done, but he's also got a huge defense. Those Guardian Brutes, because Fred specifically said he does not want to play any Stampedes, just because everybody plays them. So he kind of goes away from playing that kind of stuff. Huge nerve, huge break points on there if you look at it.
Yeah.
Lots of mobility, double Brutox, man. And one sneaky thing that nobody really seems to run is that Great Chieftain on the chariot and then give him a bow. 10 points the dude gets a range 4 with 7 shots. Like, pretty solid at movement 9.
Yeah.
Like, you get him in the flank, freaking 14 attacks. Caterpillar on him so you can't trip him up. That's a pretty solid little unit and lots of support heal. I think it's 10, 12 heals, Pretty good, a lot of Bane Chant, anything you get into him, lots of crushing strength. I think Steven's gonna have a hard time making a big enough impact on this list. The 3 individuals are nice.
Though, he can box stuff in.
How easy do those gargoyles die?
Yeah, but if they die, you have to go.
Extremely easy.
You have to hit them with something.
He's got the bow, plus he's got the
Okay,
spirit
that's one.
walkers in order
Maybe
to
one
do
true.
shooting, and then he's got harpies on top of it, and then he's got
Yeah.
longer range with everything else. All his movement is bigger.
I don't know. I'm not seeing it that way.
So what are you saying, Mark?
I'm thinking Steven's going to win it.
Me too.
All right, there you go.
I mean, I know you made the list, Jeff, and I know you've apparently.
No, I'm just saying. I think that.
Way to
I
slap
think
his cock down.
I just think with three individuals like that, that's just too many of the half breed champions. I don't.
Yeah,
think
but those
that-
guys do so much fucking work, dude.
They do, but until they don't, I mean, like 6 attacks each. Like, and then you put 3 individuals in. What are you gonna put them into the brutes and then watch them just eat their fucking faces off because they're gonna hit one, kill him, overrun, hit another one, kill him, hit the other one, kill him. Like, good luck.
If he
Triple up
if he
versus
goes
anything
after
and
the
then
brutes
fail.
with them, I mean, he could go after a lot of stuff with them. It's just, I don't know. I see that it's a good herd list. It is. It's got and it does have a lot of stuff to contend with Steven's army. I think the combination of Basusu and all the gargoyles with all of that.
It's just the
fast
whole
shit
thing
that
is all
Steven's gonna be running.
grotesque. Yeah, it's all half breeds and
Yeah.
grotesque and half breed champions. But
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I get the theme, which congratulations
like
to
a
Steven for playing a theme list because
Yeah.
he normally plays like the hardest thing you could possibly find. So
I don't know. It's a pretty hard list too.
it's a hard list, but it's also I like the theme. I
Oh,
think
it
it's a
fights
really
combat.
cool
That's what's
list.
awesome
I
about
think
it.
it's gonna look
He's gonna get
fucking
across the
sick
table
as
and
shit
fight.
on the table if he's got this all painted. Like it's gonna look really cool. I think he'll do well. I just think in this matchup, like he's got nothing with Pathfinder, dude, except for the one half breed unit. So Fred plays that to his advantage. He'll be doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if they get a table with a lot of forest, it could totally be a problem. But
yeah,
who knows? Like we
Sure.
don't know what's going to happen or how they're gonna deploy their.
You don't know.
Wild
I'm just.
West. It could be the Wild Wild West, man. It could just be a bunch of tumbleweeds and.
Yeah. All right, man. That is it for tonight.
That is all the tables. We have 2 ads that are coming in. We've got George O'Connell and John Green. Let me see if I can find John's
George
list.
is coming, huh?
George decided a couple of days.
Is he bringing elf / ogre / demon / undead?
Elf ogres?
Well, I have it on good authority that he will actually be bringing elves that
all elves.
are actually painted. I think he got
And they're elves?
Yeah, I think he got his retirement check in early this month or something, and right, well, yeah.
All right, so here is George's list. He's got a horde of archers with heart-seeking chant. He's got a regiment of palace guard with the warbow of Kaba. He's got a regiment of forest shamblers with brew of haste. Another regiment of forest shamblers. Another regiment of forest shamblers. He's got a mounted BSB with the diadem of dragonkind. He's got a mounted mage with blood boil. He's got 1, 2, 3 dragons. One of them has chant of hate. One of them has healing brew, and one of them has blade of slashing. So pretty similar, but not exactly like his master's list.
Sure.
And let me find Green's list. I hate the new Outlook. They've got it to where it flips between 2 different views. And I can never find anything. Here we go. Click. And he's got Ratkin. If memory serves, it was a pretty decent looking Ratkin. Not great, but not bad. He has 1, 2, 3 regiments of tunnel slaves. One of them has the gem of scrying. He has 2 shock troop hordes, brew of courage and helm of confidence. He's got a horde of blight, potion of the caterpillar on those. He's got 1, 2 hordes of brutes. He's got a regiment of vermintide. He's got the atypical weapon team with upgrades times 3, so 3 weapon teams with storm of lead. 1, 2, 3 warlocks. One of them has inspiring talisman. The other one took the Bane Chant 3 upgrade. And then he's got 2 swarm criers. So it kind of looks like a pre-COK list, but
Yeah,
it still has capability to be pretty solid because he's got a lot of combat too.
Yeah, it might be good in the weekend, but George is going to eat that to pieces. Sorry.
Well, that's if they get matched up. If we have
if George is playing him, that's sorry. Yeah. Okay, I thought he was playing George because
you could go with that assumption. I just won't know until we get to the event, and then if we have players spaced, then I'll have to randomize which of the three plays who and who gets the ringer.
Yeah, hope someone drops because that's a terrible matchup.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
That's a
then
real bad
again, I
matchup.
mean, if George is dumb enough to fly the dragon right over to try and start eating
weapon
teams, those weapon teams will turn and burn.
Yeah, I doubt it, but
I do too. Never know. He could be tired from that 12-hour long drive. Yep.
Who's he coming with? Is he coming solo?
I think he's coming solo. I don't know, man. He didn't tell me he was riding with anybody, so I'm just assuming.
Maybe you're picking him up at the Greyhound station.
Yeah, I haven't been told that, so I'm not planning on it.
Amtrak, maybe?
Amtrak.
Senior discount? Something.
Hey, at least he wouldn't have to drive it.
That's right.
Yeah, guys, so that is the roster. We've got a smattering of players from across the country and across the world. We have a lot of top-level talent. We've got accolades out the wazoo. We've got the president of Masters coming. We've got the reigning U.S. Master. We've got the U.S. Master Paragon. We've got the second place U.S. Masters Paragon. We've got the second place U.S. Masters Battle Champion. We've got guys that were on the Masters teams from all over the place. We've got West Coast. We've got East Coast. We've got North. We've got South. We've got Southeast. We've got basically everybody who's anybody who's coming to this tournament. So I really appreciate everybody that's showing up. I will make it a point to tell you guys that probably 10 or 15 times over the weekend. But yeah, it's going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. And I've got way too much shit to do between now and Friday to sit around and think about it. So I definitely appreciate you guys coming out and doing this with me, Rob and Jeff and Kris and Jake and Ryan, everybody that helped throughout the weekend. This would be a pretty lonely and painful event if it was just me by myself, and I would probably shoot myself on camera. So thanks for helping out, guys. I really appreciate it. Any parting thoughts or anything you guys want to see at the event or on the tables or through the weekend?
Dan King on the table, naked.
Actually, I'm just excited to see how the UK contingent does, because I know that Dan came over last year, and he went back and said, "Look, guys, you got to be good sports. You got to paint a little bit." So I mean, you got some interesting guys like Ed Herzog coming over with that really cool Trident Realms army. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is sweet.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how those guys fare. Because the American scene is a little bit bipolar. It depends on which events you go to. Some events are more hobby focused, right? And they're more softer in general. And then you've got the Texas events, which they're not soft. Okay, they're not soft. Certainly not at the top 10.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just fault. But so it's going to be great. I'm glad they're all coming. Hopefully they have a great time.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they match up versus everybody. Should be good.
Well, I think it's going to be a good melting pot, right? Because we've got people from everywhere. So you've got all the metas kind of coming in and clashing and seeing what plays out and who walks away with it with different ideas. To Rob's point, Dan took a lot of those ideas back and started to try and, merge the two cultures, if you will. I think that's a long way coming, especially with us going over there in October to see how they play and to interact with them. So I think it's a good growing year for Kings of War, and I think we're going to see a lot of fun and a lot of crazy shit. I can't wait to hear all the stories.
Me too. Can Nick Williams, you guys heard what he had to do for his display board, I assume, right?
Mm-mm.
He built the display board, then figured out that it wouldn't fit in his luggage. So then he had to chop off. Yeah, I'm like, what is? I mean, if you're going to be a display board wanker, rule number 1, measure your suitcase, dude.
I told him not to bring one. I told all those guys, don't bring a display board. We can let you borrow one.
Or just call somebody. I'm bringing one for Dan. I mean, just call us. We've got boards.
We've got extras. It's not a big deal. You don't even need them. I'm not scoring display boards. It's not part of the score.
It's for player's choice, bro. Just ask Jeff.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, you don't need them. Bring them up.
Right.
They look cool as shit.
They do. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Friday,
Friday
guys.
can't get there soon enough.
We will talk to you all later. See you guys
in less than a week.
5 days? 4 days. Some of you.
Gotta paint.
All right. Lone Wolf email's going out in a day or two, so look out for that too.
All right. See you guys
Peace.
later.